What is the best materia in the Final Fantasy VII Remake that you totally want to use and that will also help you a ton in the hard mode that unlocks after you finish the game and the challenging VR missions? I want to run down my favorites and also showcase some awesome combinations you totally want to do. So a like on the video would be awesome, of course, and let's go. Let's start with one materia that you might have overlooked and that is actually not really that needed in the normal difficulty, but that will help you a ton in the harder content, the barrier. Doing this spell will namely decrease your incoming physical damage by 50%, and upgrading it will give you Mana Ward that does the same for magic damage. And maxing it out will give you Mana Wall, and this is basically a combination of barrier and Mana Ward, so it decreases your incoming damage by 50%. And that's amazing in many encounters, and there are some fun combos you can do with this as well. For example, linking the barrier to the Magnify Materia that I already touched on in previous videos will let you cast barrier, mana ward or mana wall on all your party members at the same time for the price of one. So then your whole party is better protected after you cast this spell one time. And if you then combine this with the first strike materia that gives you ATB at the start of a fight up to more than 1 bar when you max this materia out, meaning that from moment 1 you can cast this mana wall on everyone with this combination, and then likely by the time the ability runs out you can already cast it again because you have new ATB charges. So yes, first strike is really nice also in those challenging VR missions because every round is basically a new battle. So you can immediately start out with a nice attack or a debuff like sleep. And the binding materia is actually really good as well because you can basically put a fight on hold for a moment, have the enemy sleep while you regenerate ATB. Also here, of course, the Magnify Materia is very helpful. So then when enemies are close to each other, they both fall asleep at the same time. The moment you hit an enemy, he or she will wake up, but then you still have enough time to nuke that target before going to the other, which is nice. And I use Bursic here too, because you can actually stack this on a sleeping enemy. So with Bursic, they do more damage, and you deal more damage as well. But since they are asleep, they cannot move, so you only have the benefit. It's pretty nice. So yeah, I think you already noticed that the Magnify Materia is one of the best materias in the game, right? It's hard to miss at the start of Chapter 9. You can have Arid pick it up in the Duo Robot Hands section, but if for some reason you do not do this, then there will still be a chance in Chapter 13 near those robot hands to pick it up, because then it will just be on the ground. And yes, you can of course also link it to the healing materia in the menu, and this materia is of course already really good because you can like heal people to full health with one spell, but with this combination you heal everyone in your party with one cast. So also with the MP cast for just one spell. And as you likely know, you can also combine it with offensive spells and then have it bounce to other targets. The damage will not be the same though compared to your first target, but you can increase it by leveling this materia up. So that's why I would say that it's better to use it with support spells, but if you are fighting enemies that all have the same weakness, then this can of course be nice too. The cleansing materia, just like the barrier, is also great. It first only removes poison, but the second upgrade, Asuna, removes all the different effects that you see under your health bar, and with the resist, you are actually one step ahead of that and can prevent all these attacks from happening in the first place. It also costs less MP than Asuna, so might be worth it to do an advance against enemies that are known for their debuffs. Good to note is that stuns do not, by the way, count, so you will still get hit by that even with resist. Before I touch on a very nice debuff that you can put on enemies, I first want to talk about another healing spell that is kind of similar to the cure with the Magnify Materia, and that is of course Prayer. It's a full party heal for 2 ATB charges and without any MP, and you can insanely increase it by leveling it up. So Arid can then use this ability to fully heal everyone and use her MP for other spells. As you likely know, Arid has this materia equipped when she joins your party for the first time, but you can also find another one during the Corneo's Secret Stash side mission in Chapter 14. And even when Arid is not in your party at the moment, still give it to one of your current party members to level this materia up, because that increases the amount of healing that you get. And the same goes for the chakra materia that Tifa has when she joins your party. And you can find a second version of this in the church that you go to in chapter 8, although you actually want to return then later, because during the main story the path will be blocked. And this is really my go-to materia during the hard solo challenges in the VR arena, because it gives you a fast and strong heal without using any MP. And sure, you could use Cura as well, but that takes more time to cast, and again also MP that you want to use for other spells that enemies are weak against. A great tactic that I came up with involves around the Steadfast block materia and the chakra. The Steadfast block is really one of the best materia in the game. Maybe not at first, when it only reduced a small portion of the damage when blocking, but when you fully upgrade it, the incoming damage is reduced by 75% of the regular damage. So the blade attack here that would normally do around 1000 damage would now cost a quarter of that. And the best part is that you also get ATB when you block, meaning that you can easily heal yourself again with chakra to negate the incoming damage that you still get. There is namely an attack from the enemy at the end of the 5-star hard arena that can insta-kill you if you do not block at the right time. And this materia helps a lot with that too. But the other part of the plan is that you build up the limit gauge while blocking. The limit gauge namely fills when you take damage, and with this tactic you can take an unlimited amount of damage because you block it and then can easily heal yourself with the newly earned ATB. So then before you know it, you have your limit break ready and can unleash a ton of damage. This tactic helped me survive the hard mode rank 5 solo challenges, and sure, there should be other tactics to clear this as well, but my tactic would not be possible without the chakra and the Steadfast block. And by the way, pro tip is that at Chadley you can buy 3 of those materia in total. So first you get it from Battle Report 6, so very early in the game, and then it's very cheap. And after that you have to pay 2000 gil and then 5000 gil. But this basically means that every character in your party can have this materia active at the same time, and that's very strong indeed. So that other materia that I wanted to talk about is the time materia, and especially the stop spell that you unlock when the materia is maxed out. Because with this you can namely stop the stagger bar from going down. So when the enemy is staggered and you then do this attack, then you have way more time to build up that stagger damage bonus with attacks from Tifa for example, or just nuke way more health from the target while they are unable to do anything back. It's very good indeed. I already discussed the auto cure in an earlier video, and this is just great throughout your whole playthrough, because by giving this to a party member that you do not control that often, that party member will try and heal another character when that character reaches a critical health level, and the caster of course has an ATB charge. Later on in the game it will not be that great because you can only auto cast cure, so it will not like heal a lot anymore. But throughout your whole normal playthrough this is actually great, and you also get it very early in the game in chapter 3 from Chadley. So totally use it, but then when you reach like the hard mode and the end game, you might want to switch it up. Another way to get health back is with the HP Absorb Materia, and by linking it to a spell that you do a ton, and then the more damage you do with that spell, the more health you get back, and you can also upgrade the amount of health that you get back by leveling the materia up. You can also link elemental spells with the blue elemental materia, and this is actually pretty great too. So when equipping it on a weapon and linking it to the ice materia for example, you deal elemental damage on top of your regular damage output, and that can be great in situations where the enemies are weak against ice. So you constantly deal more damage of that element on a regular shot. But it works different when you equip and link the materia on an armor piece, because then on level 1 of this materia it halves the linked elemental damage taken. On level 2 it simply prevents that linked elemental damage taken. and on level 3 you absorb it. So then you basically get health back when enemies do that element against you. It's pretty wild. You can find this elemental materia in chapter 6. It's that discovery that you see, and then you can easily find it by using the map and the different platforms to get to the different locations. And also in chapter 14 you will see it like right before the wall that takes you to chapter 15. Let me know your favorite materia in the game in the comments down below. Did we miss anything? Totally let us know as well. If you are new, be sure to subscribe to the channel for way more Final Fantasy VII content. There's also a ton of content on the channel already. A like would be super appreciated, and totally check out our previous video on some amazing items you totally want to get. For now though, we will speak to you next time, and goodbye.